There's exonerate to free from responsibility. Oops, exonerate from the payment of back child support. Ooch. To clear of all blame, to officially declare a person to be free of guilt, to exculpate, to free from encumbrances. Oh, I know that you want me to pay, but I won't. You did not protect my right to due process. You refuse to protect my equal protections of the law. And you won't exonerate me because you won't free me from the encumbrance of back child support. You said that as a judge, since I issued the order, I'm going to have to do what you say. And if I disagree with your beliefs, yes, that you will always be right because you believe you will always be right. Well, the court record says that my wife filed for default dissolution of marriage when I had responded within the 90 days. I had documented, right, that we went through a foreclosure in Vancouver, Washington. Oh, we did live in a homeless shelter on Guam, and my wife abducted my sons. And then you issued a dissolution of marriage for the sole purpose of kidnapping my sons. As Washington state law says, the Class B felony. Now, we did look through the guidelines. Yes, you can get a Class C felony for refusing to exonerate me, removing all burdens of law, removing me from every court docket, seeing me as a father of 5 sons. Now, this exoneration, the removal of the burden of back child support, removing the burden of the criminal charges in Jefferson County, removing the burden of my responsibility to have to do what your court orders say because you use forgeries. Oh, the protected person didn't believe you. The petitioner didn't believe you. How is it possible that the individual known as the mother of my 5 sons didn't believe the court? If she had believed you, she would have put her signature on it. Did she motion the court? Was she in court on July 31st of 2015? You know, when you don't acknowledge somebody, you don't believe them. You don't believe the judiciary had the authority to issue the court order. That means that you have to exonerate myself and you have to give me my sons. Now, this exoneration, the right to be reimbursed by reason of having paid money that another person should have paid. The equitable right of a surety confirmed by statute in many states to proceed to compel the principal debtor to satisfy the obligation as when, even though the surety would have a right of reimbursement. It would be inequitable for the surety to be compelled to perform if the principal debtor can satisfy the obligation. When the testator leaves a gift of property encumbered by a mortgage or lien. The doctrine of exoneration, yes, operates to satisfy the encumbrance from the general assets of the estate. Many states have abandoned the common law rule in favor of exoneration. See equity of exoneration, QETIMET. Now, let's say that you won't exonerate me for any of the crimes. Your whole thought was, well, we'll get him put in a mental institution without any court record, without the support of the people of Guam, without the support of the people of the state of Washington, because you wouldn't do what the law requires. Now, as a father, I don't support you. Do you understand, Sheriff? Congratulations on winning the election. The truth of the matter is, I've informed you for the last 3 years that my rights are being violated, and you don't believe what the law says. You don't believe the law. Now, when the law requires the petitioner to appear in court and believe what the court order says, and you decide you're going to give a chance, it doesn't work like that. The law says that if you do not appear in court, the order will be dismissed and you will not have the protections of the court order. That being understood, as the law says, you as a court commissioner cannot believe that you have more authority than the laws of the United States. It is not within your authority, Brent Baisden, to believe anything other than what the law says. Now, the petitioner didn't believe it. That's why she didn't see it, or she didn't sign it. Right. Without her signature, you can't arrest me for violating it. But you did. And then you put me in jail for 27 days. And then you arrested me for violating it from Brennan, Washington, when she never believed the receipt of the copy of this order because she herself would not sign it. Now, commissioners cannot believe that they have more authority than what the law gives them. You cannot use a forgery. Oh, you have to. Now, you're going to believe what the laws say, and you're going to enforce the law, and you're going to exonerate me of any wrongdoing because as a citizen, I'm the father of 5 sons. You're no longer going to believe yourselves. You're going to believe the law. You can remove your court order, Brent Baisden, because you believe something that is not true. It is not true that you can have court hearings without having proof of service. You cannot believe the petitioner. You have to require proof of service prior to having court hearings. And when I was a resident in Clallam County and I had personally spoke to the now chief of police of Port Angeles when I got here in 2014, he did know who I am. I haven't been hiding. I've seen police cars probably every day, and it's more than likely that officers do recognize who I am. And as an American citizen, you're going to have to believe the law. Now, why don't you exonerate me of any of the burdens of this state? Yes. And why don't you start enforcing the rights that I have as a father? The state of Washington needs to remove their burden of child support, the burden of just keep violating the laws. That's all you have to do. It's not terrorism. It's not extremism for police departments to not believe the court record. You're not extreme police departments, as in extremists that can never be found guilty of any crime. Well, when I look at extremism and your refusal to exonerate any person that should have been cleared of all blame, yes, when the jury found me not guilty, and you decided that you never have a false arrest, you're extreme. It's extremism. You're extremists. You're terrorists. Now, when you really look at those in terrorist organizations, it seemed to me that we as a government had spent billions, not just billions of dollars studying terrorism. When those in law enforcement refuse to exonerate the accused of any wrongdoing, when they have the evidence that I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, P. Budnick 21, yes, and they have the evidence that I emailed them that day and I was not cyber stalking, yes, because I've never attempted to contact the petitioner. I never have. I never went to her place of work. I never violated any court orders. As much as I know that these court orders violate the laws of the United States, I have personally never violated a court order. We can't have extremists in the employment of the government of the United States. Extremism means that your beliefs are more important than the laws. See, extremists would justify the killing of any person if they thought that it helped their extreme beliefs. Your way of seeing things that what we're doing is more important than the laws of the United States. That's terrorism. Now, I know that I documented that you decided to piss me off when you put a picture of my sister Susan Bowers in a Rotarian. But when it's terrorism, yes. Using an image of someone other than Marilyn Van Proyen, yes. Because that's really what it is. Mike Van Proyen believes that what he is doing is more important than the laws of the United States. That's terrorism and its extremist view that the law does not have to be enforced. When I inform you that somebody is not somebody, coach, and I give you the actual image of the person, Susan Bowers, then I give you a picture of Marilyn Van Proyen, and you can see the difference. You're extremists. Your beliefs are more important than the laws. Ouch. You won't believe the court record where I was exonerated. Yes, expunged, dismissed, exculpated. Ouch! You won't believe that those are forgeries. You won't look at the signatures of Heidi Lee Budner. Ouch! You can never believe that someone other than my actual wife appeared in court. You're extremists, and that's terrorism. Pow! Now, you can decide to believe the laws of the United States, or you can receive the extremist terrorist laws of the United States. Beliefs cannot play a part in what you think as law enforcement. You have one job, enforce the law. You don't have to believe anything. You just have to enforce the law. Mike Van Proyen has to go to prison. You have to enforce the law. You have to enforce my rights as a father. You have to exonerate me. You have to remove me from every docket. You have to remove your fraudulent court orders. You have to remove the burden of child support. And you have to give me my sons. Because you can't believe otherwise. You don't believe the law.